All right, well, here we are for round 2, or rather round 1 of a new event. So this hand is good. We actually have mana creature and all of our colors of mana, so we're gonna go ahead and keep it for sure. Our opponent is mulliganing. And island, turn 1 island. All right, what you got over there? Perhaps G-Sky, perhaps blue-white heroic. Or maybe, I don't know. So I'm gonna I think I want to play Heir of the Wilds and another Elvish Mystic. If I draw a red source, being able to cast Sarkhan next turn is pretty sweet. So we're gonna go ahead and fetch here. I also, Boon Satyr is like, I can also potentially bestow, given the amount of mana that I potentially have. So this actually puts a very similar amount of power on the table. I can also just cast the Boon Satyr pre-combat if I want to as well to keep Heir of the Wilds on. Ooh, all right, island. So blue-white. Maybe it's actually a control deck. Not really sure. Puts a card on top. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and cast pre-combat Boon Satyr. And give a beat down. And now we can cast either Sarkhan or Boon Satyr next turn. All right, so it is a heroic deck. It appears. So, opponent is like God's Willing. Can block and kill either of my guys. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with both of them. I may post-combat Sarkhan. I don't want to play Sarkhan and shoot. I could have played Sarkhan and attacked, but I feel like possibly setting my opponent up here to God's Willing and then Sarkhan kill his guy is pretty valuable, just because my opponent not having a creature in play is, worth a lot. Yep, he's gonna go for the God's Willing, it looks like, is my guess. Feat of Resistance. Okay, same thing. So now I'm going to play post-combat Sarkhan, kill your hero. Boom, you're dead. So we're in a really good position now. Our opponent has nothing in play. We have a Sarkhan and some creatures. Then my opponent just concedes. So sideboard-wise in this matchup, Magma Spray, Lightning Strike. These are your best cards, just the cheap removal spells. I've mismatched Magma Spray, so that's hideous. Ugh. Your worst cards, Temur Charm is kind of mediocre. The ability to kill your opponent, to fight your opponent's stuff, is fairly relevant, but with Magma Spray and Lightning Strike, you don't really need that quite so much anymore. And then creature-wise, I'm not really sure. I actually haven't played this matchup with newer versions of this deck. Boon Satyr seems like it's probably kind of mediocre. It is having the cheap ways to turn on Crater's Claws is nice. Maybe just take out some number of Ash Cloud Phoenixes. Heir of the Wilds is great because one of the ways that the heroic deck is good against green decks is actually just making big creatures. And Heir of the Wilds actually just being able to trade with those is kind of nice. Sarkhan's kind of expensive. Maybe I do just take Sarkhan out. It was good there, but now after sideboarding, I have so many removal effects. Maybe just Sarkhan dealing 4 though, which is not necessarily easy to get from the rest of my removal, is valuable. So let's go ahead and we'll take out a Phoenix. Let's take out 2 Phoenixes. Flyers might be good though. Maybe a Pelucranos is worse. I don't know. Pelucranos is actually pretty powerful too. We'll just take out the 2 Phoenixes. I'm not sure this is right, but that's what I'm going to try for now. So, and this is another great hand. We have multiple mana accelerators and then Crater's Claws. So we can even, we can potentially Creator's Claw guy right away if we really need to. Even morph a Rattleclaw to get the extra bump of mana. So this is interesting. Like, given that my opponent has 2 creatures in play, I'm less inclined to cast Critter's Claw here. If my opponent only had 1 creature, I would potentially just cast the Critter's Claws and kill it. If you didn't play the Hoplite turn 1, I would just kill this turn 2. Maybe it's worth killing this anyway, just because of the cost reduction. There's not really anything that cost reduction matters for. I'm just gonna morph a Rattleclaw. Certainly not blocking. Oh, my ears are so poppy. We are not blocking. So I have access to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I could just attack with Rattleclaw. I could face up and then Critter's Claw one of them, but if he has a Feat of Resistance or something, that ends up working poorly. So maybe I don't even need to face up this. I can just attack with this and play Polukranos. So then, looks like my opponent is having some mana troubles. Last game he didn't have white mana early. This game looks like he's mono white. So I can feel an opponent with mana troubles after my last match. It is kind of unfortunate how many games in Magic can come down to that sort of thing, though. Yeah, it isn't even able to do anything. So. How much can I monsters for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, so I could monsters for 3. So if he does have like Feat of Resistance, I could monsters my Polukranos and like fight the other one. Or I could just boon Satyr my guy. I think I do just attack here with Polukranos. He has like boons. If he has 2 Feat of Resistance, I guess I won't respond to either of them. Just hit him. All right. And I'm just going to play a Phoenix. So Phoenix can even just block one of his guys if he attacks me next turn. Like if he attacks with both of them, I can just Phoenix blocks hero, and he has to expend resources. Ah, he's still got nothing but white mana. All right, he's pretty dead. So yeah, I'm just gonna block Phoenix on hero, and then he can do whatever to keep his hero alive. Feat of Resistance, and Phoenix just flips down. Yeah, there's the Feat of Resistance. That's fine. I think I could just kill my opponent. Just attack and Crater's Claws. Right, I just attack with all 3. It's, yeah. may even be dead if I just flip this up, right? I guess it's safest to just Crater's Claws. Boom. All right, well, that was not a super interesting match, about as interesting as the last one. We at least, you know, both did things, but my opponent really didn't have you know, very good draws in either game. Mulligan then, you know, had some mana trouble, didn't really get much of the heroic action going. I do think this is actually a pretty reasonable matchup. I actually playtested against blue, excuse me, against blue-red heroic, or blue-red heroic, blue-white heroic, a reasonable amount prior to the Pro Tour because it was a deck that we were considering playing. I found that the combination of pressure and cheap removal that the Temur deck is capable of, as well as just the big creatures that can, you know, stop the sort of natural attacking draws, makes it so that, you know, it's a totally reasonable matchup. You can, you know, end up losing to, you know, the Aqueous Forms and, you know, Stratus Walks and stuff like that. But Heir of the Wilds in particular, combined with, you know, Lightning Strike and, you know, the other sort of ability to have cheap removal out of the sideboard as well, makes it so that, you know, you actually line up pretty well against them. I wonder if it's possible that I actually should have like Stubborn Denial in after sideboarding to deal with things like God's Willing, Feet of Resistance, or whatever, be able to just counter those, because those are clearly the real key cards. So anyway, I'm gonna go on to the next round.